Isn't it funny how the Creator brings certain circumstances in certain situations, brother?
Brother, I tell you, because I think we got this story here early that morning before we went out to the streets. And, of course, being kind of concerned about, pigs kill people in America. I don't care what you all folks around the world looking at. In America, they kill you, okay? If you dispute a traffic ticket, they'll kill you. If you dispute a parking ticket, they'll kill you. If you dispute anything they take, they think they have a right to kill you. So, the morning we woke up, April 24th, 1987, and we saw this story on the television, we was like, how in the world could they be messing with us about what we doing, man? You know what I'm saying? Check it out.
Been charged with murder, attempted murder, kidnapping, and other crimes after a shooting spree which took 6 lives. Al Dale explains how the drama began and ended.
60-year-old William Cruz was charged with 6 counts of murder, 10 counts of attempted murder, and a multitude of other offenses only hours after being captured by SWAT teams early this morning. It happened at this shopping center parking lot where a man and a woman were gunned down apparently at random. Cruz then allegedly crossed the road to another shopping center where 2 local policemen tried to arrest him. Both were shot dead. The officers were Gerald Johnson, on the force for only a year, and Ron Grogan, a veteran of only 7 months. 2 other civilians were killed and 14 wounded. According to police and eyewitnesses, the shooting spree began here in Cruz's own neighborhood.
Pulled forward a little bit more and fired 4 more rounds.
Police this morning were videotaping neighbors' accounts of how Cruz, who had moved here 2 years ago from Kentucky, backed out of his driveway and fired into a house and cars across the street before speeding to the shopping centers. And neighbors say Cruz has shot at kids and harassed his neighbors before.
He took a gun out of the lady over here next door too, and the lady, we all got signatures and everything, but the policeman said they couldn't do anything till he shot someone, so there he goes.
This morning, police led the handcuffed suspect on a tour of the crime scene. And this afternoon, residents began to assess the meaning of the tragedy that struck this normally quiet community. Al Dale, ABC News, Palm Bay, Florida.
Back in central Illinois, in Danville, 31-year-old Danny Young pled not guilty to have been charged with crimes ranging from murder to conspiracy to overthrow the United States government. Mark Potter reports the roundup began in Fort Smith, Arkansas.
The FBI arrest sweep took place early this morning throughout the country. In Fort Smith, Arkansas, in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, agents there arrested 68-year-old Richard Butler, head of the white supremacist group Aryan Nations. Near Detroit, another leader was arrested, Robert Miles, head of the racist Mountain Church of Jesus Christ. 10 of the 15 people indicted today are accused of plotting to overthrow the U.S. government through a variety of crimes.
Robberies, counterfeiting, assassinations of federal officials, assassination of ethnic groups, and bombings, destruction of utilities, pollution of water supplies.
Also indicted but still being sought is Louis Beam, an Aryan Nations ambassador at large, who in the past devised a racist computer network and gave military training to his followers. In Denver today, 3 members of a racial terrorist group, The Order, were also indicted, along with another person, for the machine gun assassination of radio talk show host Alan Berg, who spoke out against the white supremacists. Many believe today's indictments will seriously damage the already dwindling white supremacist movement. Mark Potter, ABC News, Fort Smith, Arkansas.
All right, brother. Now, several media outlets were at the demonstration. How close was this interpretation of what really went down?
It probably was closer to Channel 20. Channel 20 was a Springfield thing. This is a station about 30 miles up the road called Decatur. It's like east of Springfield. And I think if I had to talk about, it wasn't a civil rights demonstration, that's for damn sure. Even though at the time we thought it should have been. It was a human rights thing. Let's listen and see.
There was a civil rights march through downtown Springfield today. A large group of people peacefully protested the death of 32-year-old Gerald Clemons. Clemons, a black man, died of a heart attack following a scuffle with 11 officers at the American Legion Hall. The protesters feel it was a case of police brutality. News 17's Barbara Morse reports.
It was reminiscent of many of the civil rights rallies and marches of the 60s. And they, dozens of them, black and white, marched through the streets of downtown Springfield. message is clear. Police Chief Stanley Troyer should be dismissed. They say that would be the first step in ending what they feel is ongoing police brutality aimed mainly at blacks in this city. The half-hour march ended here at City Hall. As many as possible packed into the small pre-council room to speak their piece before the City Council.
As we see it, there's only one possibility of getting at the truth in this case, and that is the filing of a civil rights case against the police department for killing Gerald Clemons.
While there may be people in this room who do not have faith in those organizations, the reality is that those organizations are good organizations.
Afterwards, outside City Hall, a member of Gerald Clemons' family spoke out.
If you have a man in Florida who takes people hostage, kills people, and they still bring the man out alive, how can you justify killing a man with no weapons who hurt no one?
If it takes 1,000 marches, we gonna come back, and you gonna tell us.
In Springfield, Barbara Morse, News 17.
What you just saw was a human rights demonstration for Brother Gerald Clemons. He was 32 years old when the pigs murdered him. 21 years later, 2008, these things still happen to us. So what's the problem? We got to stand up for our human rights, man. This video was made possible to us from the brother Mbanna Kantako with Human Rights Radio. They've been on the air for over 20 years now, giving out information for free because you got a human right to know. And of course, the crackers and his lackeys won't tell you about this brother, but now you know, so no excuses. All right, stand up for your rights. HumanRightsRadio.net. Check it out. It's free. Everything's free on HumanRightsRadio.net.